Welcome back to the Jam on You. Of course, we love Shawn Wayans. He's best known for his roles on In Living Color, in White Chicks, and the Scary Movie film.
He's got us laughing already. So next weekend, he's going to be performing at the Improv in Schaumburg for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And we're so happy to have Shawn.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm happy to be here. I have a quick question. What did you guys do to my hair? It looks like a weird little natural right there.
Put a beanie on you.
Was that one of your looks?
You should have put a beanie on.
It looks like you just
My
took
hair
your
don't look
head
like
off.
that. I don't know who that is. It looks like someone
okay.
sat on my head.
I'm so
All right, well,
sorry.
at least we have the real head in here
Yeah,
today
the real head is
to
here.
set the record straight.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your DJing. Like, if you were doing that now in 2017, what do you think?
What would I
music
play?
you be playing?
I start out with some old school stuff.
Like what? How old?
I would go old, the kind of
Like
I
Motown?
want to
Like
thank
funk.
I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, old school soul,
Oh.
and then I'm gonna bring it down into a little bit of the old school hip hop, some a little bit of React and some Foxy Brown, a little bit of move it all into that direction, and then I'll take you into some of the 2000 hip hop, and then I'll work my way all the way up into some of the trap. And that's how we'll be ending the night.
I hope DJ Mike P is taking notes.
You know what's up. You know what's up.
So, Shawn, I want to...
Okay, that's what we're waiting for. What are we waiting for?
All right, you get your drink to that.
Shining your light on me.
Okay.
So I want to ask you
I love what
about
you
In
say.
Living Color, because
What's
back
up?
in the day, that was the show. Everybody was must-see TV. Back then, what was it like working on that show? Could you ever see it actually coming back? I know they flirted with the reboot.
How you flirt with the reboot? Like,
Like, yo, what's
you
up,
gonna give me
reboot?
some more of that Living Color? I can't get none of that Living Color. What was your question? I'm sorry.
I said, what was it like back in the day working on that show? It seemed like it was so much fun.
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, man. I was a kid on a show with all that talent. I had just gotten to the business, so I was a sponge. I was in there learning how to write and be funny, and watching Jim and Damon and Keenan and all those guys put that together, and that's where I got all my comedy swag from.
So I
She's like, okay, baby.
speaking of some comedy legends, I was listening to an interview you did with Sway in the Morning.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how Eddie Murphy touched your life and your brother's lives, and you kind of were saying that if you were a young black comedian, he helped you out.
Eddie Murphy is one of the most generous movie stars in the game. If any of the big black comedians today that you see that are legends in their own right, Eddie Murphy had a hand in. From
So what do
Chris
you mean by
Rock
that?
to my brother. He gave a lot of the guys shots. He put Damon in Beverly Hills Cop. Keenan produced Eddie Murphy Raw. Chris Rock was he found Chris Rock. Dave Chappelle was put in Nutty Professor. Marlon was put into Norbit. I mean, the list goes on and on. This dude has been like very generous.
So
in giving
I have
everybody.
I always want to give props where props are due. I got to give you guys props because obviously an iconic family name. And one thing that amazes me about you guys is that decades after decades, you all seem to stay in good standing with the masses, with the public, with the media. We don't ever really hear about, just stuff going on in the media
Insanity.
with you guys.
I mean, well, we try to
It
keep.
probably feels different for you, but we don't hear
You're not
about
on
it.
Instagram. You stay out of trouble.
I'm not on Instagram, and honestly, I'm not really out there like that. I'm a homebody. I hang out with my family. I'm usually working or I'm hanging out with my family, so I'm chilling.
So I got to ask you this one, because when I read this, I was like, man, is that true? We talked about the comedians, black comedians especially. I heard a rumor that Martin Lawrence auditioned for the show, and they passed on him. Didn't think he could make the cut for it.
On In Living Color?
Living Color. Have you ever heard that before?
I'm not
Is that
sure.
true?
I'm not sure if he auditioned. I know that at that time, actually, yeah. You know what? That's true. I think it was true, and it wasn't because Martin wasn't talented, because Keenan loved Martin.
Sure.
But Keenan was looking for a specific character.
And Keenan's a master at that.
He's a master, and he always knew Martin. He loved Martin, but he was looking for people who had characters, because if you watch In Living Color, that's what the show was about. So I guess that's not what Martin was doing at that time, and so he probably, didn't put him on. But
Yeah.
then
So
Martin became a huge star anyway.
When you talk about working with your brothers, I didn't realize that you were you were the number 9 child out of 10
I was.
kids.
I still am. Yeah, I'm number 9.
That's
Like someone
crazy.
replaced
Ooh,
me.
God bless your mother.
God bless
Must
her.
have been
God bless
insane.
your mother.
God bless her. Yes. My house was insane, and that's why y'all got all these crazy shows coming at you, because it all started in 413 West 16th Street. That's where we grew up in New York
Was
City.
it like one big skit growing up?
It was like one big skit.
Was this the plan though? Because your parents had regular folks' jobs? Like, was
Yeah,
that
my
was
mother
the
was
plan to put
my
you-
mother was a social worker. My dad was an entrepreneur, and my mom worked. She was a job developer. She also worked with battered women
Oh, wow.
in the shelters. So,
So, how do you get your family? Usually, the parents are really involved. Like, was this the plan?
no, there was no plan. The plan was to eat, and comedy bought the food. But back
I know
then,
that's
it was
right.
just comedy was what we used to get through the dark and hard times. So we just had fun with it. We didn't
That's
have
real.
much, but we had laughs.
So
That's
we're going to
right.
have some more laughs because I think you're sticking around for a
Yeah,
little
for
bit.
sure.
We're holding on to you, Shawn. All right, coming up after the break, we're chatting holidays and the Wayans siblings in a game we call Which Wayans? Shawn's going to be performing at the Improv in Schaumburg next Friday through Sunday. November 24th through the 26th, chicago.improv.com is where you can find all the ticket info. More with Shawn Wayans after this short break.
Right.
Stick around, everybody. We're going to have some fun.
He's acting like he wants to dance.
Come on.
I mean, I'm just,